जयपुर वाया कोटा।
कृपया ध्यान आपो अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत.
ಲಕ್ನೋ ಜಂಕ್ಷನ್
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವವರೆಗೆ
Hyderabad को 50 एक्सप्रेस পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন कृपया ध्यान दियो.
Sunil Narine has given a lot of joy to a lot of people in the city of joy. He's given a lot of joy to Mr. Joy Bhattacharya. He's given a lot of joy to me as well. We are back at Cricbuzz Live. I'm Saiyami Kher. I have Joy Bhattacharya and Pommie Mbangwa with me. But guys, first, it was too close.
Well
I had to
done.
do it. Second victory. One
Your
about
second
3K.
Can I have a message to Gaurav?
My acceptance speech, GK. I have been home and performing well, but now I've come to my second home and I'm performing well. I'm just learning from the master, Gaurav Kapoor, to be the defending champion, was it?
Yeah,
the defending champion.
He won once and then he called himself defending
Yeah.
champion. Why don't you go in the same way and call yourself the greatest or something?
The great, no.
Greatest
We spoke
of all time.
We spoke about humility in the green room and how players should stay humble. So going by what we spoke in the green room, we'll talk about KKR batters and how, they made the bowlers feel humble because they hit them all across the park. Sunil Narine, 109 in 56. Joyda, is this the first century at the Eden Gardens by someone from
really,
KKR?
Really special because this was an important innings and interesting. I mean, you look at it, the usual suspects didn't give them runs. Salt didn't give them runs. Andre Russell didn't give them runs, but the way Sunil Narine played, and I think he also had a point to prove that I'm not just a slogger.
Yes.
And so the way once he survived those 6 overs, I mean, I think the defining part of this match, of this innings, was the way he played the two spinners, Ashwin and Chahal. The way he targeted Ashwin, the tactical battle between him and Ashwin, how he played Chahal, those basically changed the match for me. And I think that innings and that partnership with Raghuvanshi was so important to this innings.
But Pommie, we spoke about this in the com box. There was Sunil Narine who was not going for everything, not being the slogger that we know him to be. And at the other end, there was Raghuvanshi playing proper test shots. But a little on Sunil Narine because he just paced in his innings so well. It didn't look like he was going to hit every single delivery that was coming to him.
There's a confidence that he has, and yes, a confidence from form, but in terms of executing that form in itself and his role, he is confident he'll get the ball over the ropes and recognizes that he doesn't have to swing as hard as he can to get the ball over the ropes. 59, I think it was, one side, and 71 the other for the square boundary. It's not even long straight. So he knows once the wicket's good enough, he just has to hit through the line. And if he half connects, I don't know how many times we said, ooh, that's the bottom of the bat. And it's gone sailing into the crowd. So as the bowler, you really are on a hiding to nothing as soon as it's any length that he can try and get under and get out the ground. And whereas before he kind of played shots from only deliveries that were full and hit them straight back over and maybe towards mid-on and mid-wicket, there was a time they were trying to bowl wide at him and he managed to hit the ball over extra cover and over there for 6.
Yes.
So there are many zones that he is now dangerous in, and it shows that he's gone off and made himself more than the slogger at the top of the order. So he has a method now that is more like a batter, but a batter with license and always ensuring that he's not going to waste any deliveries. The fact that he can go on through the power play and keep playing aggressively is why they can get to these big totals, because he looks to always go for those boundaries. High boundary count, and it frees up everybody else and means as bowlers you're taking a lot of punishment.
Joyda, we were talking about that one name. Whenever you associate KKR, you see Andy Russ, and the other one is always Sunil Narine.
Actually,
and that's the home advantage, right?
You have to take Narine before us.
Yes.
Narine was in 2000, there from 2012. Russ really came in 2014. So he's been there even longer.
So he knows this ground inside out. The angles you're talking about, he knows it inside out.
Look, it's not just him. It's the way he's played. I mean, Narine today, as I said, both those other knocks were fantastic. I was there for Brendan's knock at the Chinnaswamy. Saw Venkatesh Iyer sing in
Very
this
first
studio.
one, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
the very
Yeah,
first one.
very
The
first
first
game.
match being on the 18th of April 2008, 2 days later. So it's one of those things. So what you have out here is a person who's played a complete game. And the important thing is, how does Rajasthan operate? They have Bolt up front who takes wickets up front. That didn't happen this time. Okay, when it doesn't happen, your spinners come on and do something. Okay, Avesh got you a wicket, which was important. Then your spinners come on, apply the brakes, there's pressure, wickets fall. Didn't happen because Sunil Narine played them so well. And because he played them well, Raghuvanshi could pick the shots he wanted to hit. So Ankush should also play according to a particular way. If Sunil Narine had got bogged down at one end, he would have been forced to take risks. Here he was hitting good cricket shots because there was no pressure on him that he had to score at 10 and over, 12 and over. It was happening at the other end. And that's why that partnership was so successful. Both of them were playing their games. And moment that happens, then you've set up the whole game. And then in the end, you have so many power hitters. Russell doesn't come off one day, Rinku will come off.
Yes.
Rinku doesn't come off one day, Ramandeep will come off. They have so many weapons out there that they have the opportunities.
But Raghuvanshi's partnership with Sunil Narine, I'd like to have a look at that because Phil Salt got out and then this youngster all of 18, 19 came in and did what he did. Proper test shots, 85 or 43.
Test shots?
I mean, it just looked so beautiful. It didn't look like he was playing those laps and he wasn't playing these unconventional shots. They just look like these proper, we spoke about in the com box, very
Purist. Look at her purist.
I'm trying to understand. She's the purist. Test shots, she said. I was like, all right, okay. I tell you what, there's a plethora of batters in India, young batters, who just look good doing it. You know, they just... And because they play what you're calling conventional shots, right? Who's convention, I don't know, but but conventional shots, what are called orthodox shots, and standing upright and playing in the way that you would learn the game.
Yes.
It might not be the way you'd learn the game now, actually, because in fact, I saw on Twitter the other day some youngster who was hitting balls, and every now and again he'd do a lap shot, and once he'd done a lap, he'd be like, "Oh, look at this, look at that!" He'd be happiest about the lap shot, So
I think this is conventional textbook for the 90s kids. I'll keep it in that
90s
bracket.
kids, right?
90s kids.
I'm moving you in further.
I think you need to go a long way further
So
back.
actually, I was thinking about it. He's hit two shots which reminded me of two very different generation of cricketers, and I'm just revealing my age here. One was the late cut, which he hit, which was very, very G.R. Vishwanathish, waiting the last moment till you glided past. And then, of course, on the other end, the flick of the wrist, the Azhar, which is very Azharish,
Yes.
Just picked it up from there, Azhar, Lakshman, that kind of wrist. He looked very good, yeah.
This straighter one, which I think was his first scoring shot, was unbelievably good. Just for balance. Like if you're bowling a guy who walks in early, you think, I can trap him, hit him in front. And he just worked it straight of like mid-wicket and just wide of mid-on. And it went off when you thought, wow, how's he done that? Like right out the middle of the bat and carried on going. So shot after shot, whether leg side or offside, it looks really good. It's part of the excitement actually of the IPL. The fact that they're these guys you don't know, and many of us, we won't see them at all, because even if they're playing domestic cricket here, you might look through scorecards and stuff. You don't know what a guy's 100 looks like when he's playing. You don't know what a 60, and there are some that will score 60, 70, whatever it is, and there'll be magnificent runs. There was the chat there about him not having a glowing record, but someone having recognized that there's something in this guy. And when we watch him now, we're going, gee, that's good. That's wonderful to watch. Oh, you want more of him. He should stay in, bat a bit more, because it looks so good.
I mean, look, the kid is stayed. I mean, he's a Delhi kid who's moved to Bombay, stayed. He's Sahil Kukreja's cousin then. But he stayed. Abhishek Nair is the man, and Abhishek Nair is also, KKR coach. So Abhishek Nair can say, look, I've seen this kid, forget about it. I mean, take this kid, pick him, I know what he's all about. And then once he comes to camp, once he's actually there, then somebody like a Gautam Gambhir can also take a look at him. And I think that's the thing you do. There are two parts to, one is identifying youngsters. But the second part, which is equally important, is actually investing in that youngster. Is saying, giving him a 3 is a big call, big call.
And backing him for quite some
you've got
time.
Nitish Rana who's got 400 odd runs for you for the past 5 years.
Yeah.
There's the third part, which is a recognition of young players' temperament. Because IPL is a big stage. And IPL will have many a player, not necessarily just young and more seasoned, who get to the stage and might freeze a little bit because of the expectation they put on themselves and therefore the inability to convert and take the chance. And they end up kind of languishing on the bench and, not quite getting a go, having got to go early. So when you get your chance early, you want to make sure that you do something that says, hey, who's that? Hey, we want him to play more. Hey, that looks like... And so that investment can come where they'll keep going with you for a period of time because you look like you can do it. And you can.
Well, someone who looked very good was this young Raghuvanshi, but what looked better for KKR was this batting card. Besides Phil Salt and Shreyas and Venkatesh, everyone else has contributed in a big way. And like you said, if Andreas doesn't come to the party, then Rinku comes and does what's required of him. He's come out today, got those 20 of 9, which were crucial runs. So finish it off well on a score that...
Yeah, I mean, that's important for KKR. You look at that and you'll realize how many weapons they have. Salt and Narine up front, Raghuvanshi, Shreyas, to go after the spinners. Russell and Rinku, 2 of the best finishers of the game. And if wickets had gone early, you could have probably promoted Venkatesh Iyer and got him in playing in the middle order as well. So you've got so many weapons that the whole idea for KKR now is that only 2 or 3 of these need to get going for a match. And because of the impact substitute rule, you had a Ramandeep walking in. Yes. Otherwise, last year you couldn't have afforded that extra batter. Now you can do it because you're going to sub him with a bowler and bring somebody else on.
But Pommie, how can you be a bowler when there's just... We've been chatting about this. We'll have a look at RR's bowling card. It's just a really sorry sight for a bowler. For the first time, I think the spinners, Yuzi and Ash, have gone for over 10 runs since 2022. So they've been very expensive. Trent bowled... In the scheme of things, 7.75 is a very good economy rate, but just a tough day to be a bowler.
Yeah, both those up at the top. I think those will be more than acceptable. 1 for 31 and 2 for 35. More than acceptable in any game in this season particularly. I think you might even go back to last season and say those 2 sets of figures would put you in a good place in a game. If all the others are in and around there, you're going okay as a team. Your first question, who would be a bowler? Well, I don't know. I don't think that's what you would choose because you've got very little to play with as far as where you can bowl. You've got to be very, very good in terms of skills and deception. And there's got to be a case where batters must think of so many different options that you can execute in order that they're not just sitting waiting for what they know you can. If it's just 2 options, they can cover both of them and ensure they still get you to the fence. And by very, very good, I'm talking of like the very best, like Jasprit Bumrah, difficult to line him up because you don't know what he's going to bowl. It can be short, it can be full, it can be slower and short, it can be on length, it can be slower and full. So it can be wide and full. It's just... As I think about it, the simplest plan, the first plan, generally, many would say, go to the wickets, go to the stumps. But I think the first plan's got to be get out of that hitting arc. You flirt with that tram line, even though they're calling you wide out there. Flirt with that tram line and have that as stock ball because these fields are not big enough. And anytime you bowl anywhere near these guys, away you go out the ground. And perhaps you start off dead straight whilst it's swinging and you're trying to get wickets. But once someone gets in, get out of their hitting arc and allow them to try and fetch you and find you to try and get it off to the boundary, whichever it is, and use the bigger boundary. It's a tough job. I think it's a very tough... And the scores are testament to that, Well,
Joyda, it was a contest between a very good bowling side against a very powerful batting side, and we've seen who's come as the winner.
How many days will you ever see Chahal and Ashwin going for 100? They went for 103. Can you imagine that? I mean, the two of them, one of the finest spin combinations in this tournament. They've gone for 103 for 1 wicket. And I think the destroyer was Sunil Narine. He just lined them up in such a way. He forced Ashwin wider and wider. He kept bowling wides. The moment he tried to come straight, and you remember once he knew that after a couple of wide calls, the temptation is just too much to see. Let me just dart one in and see what happens. The next time he tried to dart one in, he went straight down leg side for 4 byes. So the point of it is that battle, and clearly there was a plan for him in case he survived. And he thought his way through the plan and hit his way out of the plan. And I think that for me is the main thing in this batting. Now, when these Rajasthan bats, they have to find a way to navigate the bowlers as well. Because just like Ashwin and Chahal had plans, the Kolkata bowlers will have plans.
Yeah, and whilst, we'll watch Rajasthan and it could happen that they don't get the runs.
Yes.
But despite that, I would say that there's an imbalance in terms of ball versus bat. It's quite heavily skewed in the way of the batters, and there needs to be something that you can give to the bowlers. Then the rule, and I'll say this also, there probably wasn't enough of short stuff at Narine upstairs. If it's hitting you from there, fair enough, you got to direct it well enough. The 2 bouncer rule, good, I like it. But I would say you still need to go further and maybe give the bowlers the offside. I say give them the offside. You can't go leg side and, if you're outside here where they can hit it, then it's too wide. But they can reach it. They can walk across. They can do anything they like. Just so that there's a bit more of cat and mouse. And it's not just a standing there, bang, bang out the ground the whole time. And it's not, for some they'll go, oh, no, you're making excuses for these bowlers. They've got to be better and all the rest. Yeah, it's easier said than actually done. And these batters are just standing there waiting because they know they can just hit it out the ground. You don't even have to miss by that much and away you go out the ground. So yeah, maybe. And if that's not the solution, there may be other ways to find a solution. But we've got to try and find some sort of solution. So there's jeopardy, there's kind of a chance for the bowlers to win it somehow.
Well, we'll have a look at the playing 11 because there's someone standing there to go bang, bang. Butler is going to be coming in because he comes in as a sub. So he's waiting in deep in his crease to go bang, bang. Joss Butler comes in and Kuldeep Sen is out. We'll have a look at KKR's playing 11 and see who's come in for them. I think Vaibhav comes in and Rinku goes out for KKR. So we will now quickly do our predictions. Pommie, go first. It's his debut game, so we give him.
So you get everything, you get all the biscuits. I love it. This is fantastic. I am going for.
This is the power play.
Yes. I'm going for 68.
Oh, I wanted to go 69.
You can
so
go
I have an
69.
option. I don't want to do that to him. Come on, we'll give him space. Let's increase the chance of everyone winning. So I'm going to go higher. In fact, I'm going to go 76.
Wow.
In for a penny, in for a pound.
76, 69. I can't go higher than you, so I will have to go lower. So I will go with 64.
Oh, tight.
So we give everyone that space, 5-run space. We'll wait and watch because like Pommie said, it's just bang bang for the batters today, but let's see if Starc can do something and pull off some magic. I don't mind winning for the second time. Don't mind it at all. So Starc, rooting for that. We'll wait and watch. We'll give you all an update at the 10 over point at the Cricbuzz Combox. We'll see you all there.
Jaipur via Kota.
कृपया ध्यान आपो अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
Lucknow Junction.
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವವರೆಗೆ
Hyderabad 50 Express পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন।